Masih menunggu, Kak. Gimana ya?
Udah itu kok. Loading biasanya 3-5 detik.
Oh, siap. Oke deh, siap. Mbak Murni juga udah siap. Oke, aku sudah suaranya ya.
Yap.
Ini suaranya gimana nih? Kak, boleh minta tolong. Suaranya ini gimana? Kak. Iya.
Tes.
Ngomong, Kak. Suaranya soalnya mau dicoba.
Apa?
Halo?
Ya tes.
Tes.
Ya, Mbak Murni suaranya coba.
Gak bisa ya?
Bisa kok.
Bisa kan?
Halo.
Ini nggak kedengeran.
Siapa yang nggak kedengeran?
Ya, di sini nggak kedengeran. Gimana ya?
YouTube-nya kalau di sini nggak masalah sih. YouTube-nya sih itu.
Iya. Sebentar ya, kayak.
Volume YouTube-nya coba cek.
Iya. Katin, mana itu suaranya nih? Katin. Suara. Kakak kita stay connected, itu oke ya?
Iya, nggak apa-apa.
Oke. Kak, suaranya ini gimana?
Suara apa?
Ini delegasi mana? Suaranya dong, Kak.
Suara apa?
Ya, suara ini biar letak. Soalnya aku mau coba YouTube ya.
Ya ini suara apanya sih?
Coba, Kak, tes.
Tes. Ya tes. Sekarang.
Bisa nggak ya? Nggak bisa ya suaranya? Ini udah. Suara di YouTube-nya. Di YouTube-nya gimana caranya? Coba lagi. Halo dari Mbak Murni dari itu.
Oh ya, Mbak Murni.
Halo, kedengeran nggak? Ini udah halo.
Bagus sekali dari Indonesia.
Bisa nggak ada suaranya ya?
Nggak ada suaranya, Kak?
Enggak, udah itu biasanya emang pending 3 detik biasanya.
Teman-teman sebentar dulu. Gimana coba tes lagi?
Tes.
Halo.
Udah.
Dapat.
Halo lagi.
Sekarang aku pakai pengisi suara dan delegasi ya.
Ya.
Ini tinggal 7 menit lagi.
Ya udah.
Ini belum masuk ya? Ini ada Mas Daniel ya?
Ya, Mas.
Udah.
Saya.
Udah, Prof. Sanny udah masuk.
Aku pakai.
Prof. Sanny udah masuk itu.
Itu Mas Daniel di belakang saya,
Ya.
Pak, nanti pakai ini aja ya.
Apa?
Fatin. Enggak, aku manggil Fatin.
Oh.
Ini Atep.
Masih ada
Ini
dulu.
Atep. Ini presentasi gini ya. Ngerti ya? Udah.
Aku sih.
Yuk, ini tinggal delegasinya. Ini komisionernya udah ada. Sip. Kami keluar ya.
Ya.
Yuk, Dan, nggak bisa digedein. Udah full. Nanti saya keluar dari situ gede. Banyak kecilnya, tapi yang gede yang nggak ada. Nggak bisa slip, gede, kecil, gede. Oh gitu pas presentasi.
Yang itu dari sana.
Oh iya. Oke.
Yuk, udah semuanya. Masuk ke ruangan yuk. Ada lagi mana delegasinya? Karena lagi kuliah. Jangan ngobrol dulu ya.
Nggak masalah. Udah terlanjur lah sini biar orang tahu gimana riuhnya.
Delegasi yuk, masuk lagi yuk. Udah live-nya udah oke. Bismillah, semoga bisa yuk 1.30 yuk. Delegasi masuk lagi yuk.
Kita
terus
bisa
suara moderatornya gimana? Betari?
Oh iya ya, gimana ya? Makanya harus ada Google Hangout ya.
Pakai HP aja coba.
Bawah. Pakai HP. Aku coba di HP ya, pakai Google Hangout yang tadi ya.
Iya.
Coba ya. Linknya kakak kan?
Iya.
Aku coba
Mbak Murni posisi di mana sekarang, Mbak?
Jakarta?
Halo?
Halo? Halo,
Halo?
kedengeran nggak? Halo?
Wah.
Kedengeran nggak?
Di sini suara Mbak Murni bagus.
Halo Arab? Tadi siapa namanya? Namanya siapa? Rian? Oh bukan. Wah hilang.
Halo?
Mas moderator
Sorry.
siapa namanya? Lupa lagi.
Rama.
Oh, Rama.
Iya.
Oh Mas
Sorry.
Rama akan ya?
Iya. Ya sorry tadi soalnya sempat lag hangoutnya, sorry.
Oke.
Moderator.
Jadi Mas Rama moderasinya dari Arab.
Lebih ke ini sih, operator sih. Nanti moderator nanti ada sendiri yang di Barca.
Oh, baik. Aku bingung. Oh, Mas mau nanya, kita bisa lihat audiensnya nggak?
Bisa.
Oke.
Ntar ini mereka lagi ngidupin apa namanya, pakai HP soalnya mau lagi nyalain hangout dari sana, makanya ini belum mulai. Soalnya kan buat apa namanya, buat moderatornya kan di sana ada. Gitu.
Oh, jadi kita sekarang belum terhubung sama yang di Barcelona.
Belum. Tapi YouTube udah jalan ini.
Oh, tadi mau ngomongin orang, nggak jadi deh. Udah.
Jadi kendalanya di sana katanya kan tadi saya arahkan kan komputer buat nampilin hangout kan, ternyata nggak bisa di komputer di sana. Karena nggak bisa nginstal Chrome kan di apa namanya, di komputer kampus.
Tapi
Gitu.
kan di email ada ya. Di email tuh kan ada otomatis hangout langsung.
Iya,
Akses.
cuma yang ada mereka kan Firefox di komputer sana. Nah, Firefox tuh kadang dia nggak connected ke Hangout. Gitu, nggak ngerti juga saya sih. Saya berapa kali emang kayaknya yang kompatibel cuma one and only Google Chrome sih. Jadi ya begitulah. Ntar berarti saya ganti ini urutannya.
Udah bisa denger ya?
Udah.
Tapi gimana ya buat moderator ya? Soalnya ini di HP aku. Oh nanti kalau misalnya moderatornya naik pakai HP aku aja di bawah mereka ya.
Either di bawah mereka atau di tripod aja nggak masalah sih, Betari.
Sebentar ya Kak, aku ganti ini dulu. Aku ganti. Kenapa?
Ya bisa pakai tripod juga nggak masalah sih.
Aku ganti internet dulu sebentar.
Oke.
Kak Mahir. Sebentar. Kok lama ya? Apa? Ya udah. Tapi kakak kan nggak Google Hangout kan di situ. Ada. Ya udah langsung aja.
Ya, pakai wifi nangkapnya lebih bagus di sini. Coba ya.
Iya ya. Oke, linknya ini bit.ly hangout_SAE hangout_SAE 2019
Terus tadi namanya apa? Lihat di grup.
Ini.
Soalnya kalau ini nggak bisa keluar, ya kan? Pakai gue aja lah.
Murni.
Di bawah
Tadi yang dari namanya kayak tadi. Ini Bangun Jakarta. Ini ada. Buka dulu. Saya mau foto dulu yang ini. Sekarang gimana buka? Oh, like ini ya. Mana sih? Oh gitu.
Maaf, ini buat suaranya ya, suara ke moderator ke Pak Sanny, ke PPI TV. Mbaknya sini.
sekarang jadi deket. Mau duduk gitu dia.
Ini nggak bisa.
Aku harus.
Hello everyone. So we are very happy and for this session, we would like to guide you to become the moderator. As Master and my friends, and your presentation because this session our is in the middle of nowhere. So for in the labor country, please give us and for please. Okay, after we are
Tapi audiensnya kan ada yang dari
Dikit orang.
oh nih.
Siapa bisa masuk?
Gambar yang kedua dari kanan Pak, itu ya. Audience. Dari kanan. Ya.
Pak Sanny, suaranya Pak.
Ya, siap. Ada delay ya? Ada delay.
Halo Pak Sanny.
Halo, ya. Ada delaynya.
Kalau gitu dari Kak Sahil mungkin aja aku masuk yang filternya aja ya, masuk mikrofonnya apa gimana? Soalnya ini delay.
Ya udah nggak masalah.
Mungkin aku
Ya, jadi sekarang dari teman-teman di Barcelona, Pak Prof. Sanny, katanya silakan presentasi.
Oh begitu, baik. Halo.
Ya, langsung aja Prof. Langsung aja Prof.
Oh, langsung aja.
Ya.
Kalau gitu buka file saya.
Dari Prof. Sanny.
Ya.
Itu di apa namanya? Di layar juga kelihatan presentasi kok.
Ini baru saya sebutkan second panel version ya, nature based tourism ya. Ya oke. Ya Pak. Oke.
Silakan. Langsung aja Prof.
Baik. Halo.
Ya, monggo Prof.
Ya, ladies and gentlemen, selamat malam di Indonesia dari ITB Bandung. Sampai jumpa di kami dari ITB Bandung mencoba mempresentasikan tentang judul in English Disaster Management Evaluation in Geotourism and Geohistory of Aceh, Indonesia toward World Class Dynasty. Ini saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja lihat ya. Karena kelihatannya saya tidak melihat sesuatu ada orang bule di situ, kelihatannya nggak tahu ada tidak situ. Kita bahasa Indonesia juga lebih bagus. Jadi ini adalah pengalaman saya. Ini adalah pengalaman saya bagaimana mencoba memahami gempa bumi dan tsunami di Aceh yang besar sejak tahun 2004, Desember 2004 yang lalu. Oleh karena itu ini adalah semacam suatu evaluasi bagi umat manusia. Bagaimana gempa besar dan tsunami besar di abad modern ini terjadi di Aceh dan Indonesia. Setelah itu Indonesia pada umumnya terjadi gempa-gempa besar dan tsunami disertai juga oleh liquefaction. Next slide please. Jadi perlu diketahui bahwa gempa di Aceh adalah gempa terbesar di dunia di abad modern ini. Besarnya 9,2 magnitude Richter. Terjadi akibat antara plate Australian plate atau lempeng Australia dengan Eurasia bertabrakan di Sumatera, khususnya di Aceh. Ini adalah gempa terbesar yang mengagetkan dunia, baik dunia ilmu pengetahuan, sains maupun teknologi maupun umat kemanusiaan. karena tsunami tingginya sampai 30 meter di laut dan 12 meter di tepi pantai, sampai menjorok jauh sampai mencapai 4 km masuk dalam kota Banda Aceh. Pada saat itu banyak manusia-manusia hilang, bahkan meninggal, lebih dari 250.000. Ini ada kejadian manusia yang sangat luar biasa. Next slide please. Ya. Pada saat itu, di tahun 2004 bulan Desember tanggal 26, baru saja kemarinnya terjadi peristiwa Natal. Kemudian terjadi gempa bumi yang skala besar 9,2. Kemudian disusul oleh tsunami terbesar di dunia di abad modern ini. Oleh karena itu, 1 atau 2 generasi hilang. Pada waktu itu keluarga kami pun banyak yang hilang. Yang selamat adalah kebetulan pada saat itu sedang pergi ke Mekah.
Prof.
Apakah bisa terdengar?
Bisa. Prof. Mohon maaf, Prof. Ternyata,
yes.
Prof.
Ya.
Suara saya dengar, Prof.
Dengar sekali, bagus sekali.
Iya.
Apakah suara saya bagus tidak?
Bagus. Ini dari teman-teman minta Prof pakai bahasa Inggris saja, Prof. Soalnya ada beberapa dari yang berbahasa Inggris di sana.
Oke. Padahal ini enak bahasa Indonesia kalau Indonesia semua.
Iya, tapi
Okay. This happened to Aceh on December 69 on 204 years. There have lost of generation, one or two generation died or killed. This is the largest impact tsunami disaster striking 11 neighboring countries. Destroyed area reached 10,000 kilometer area and 22 district or city in Nangro Aceh, Darussalam especially. The worst damage of geological setting, building, demography, and also agriculture. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. This is the most sympathetic disaster, so that being able to invite donation from all around the world, from America, from Arab, from Europe, all of countries of the world is sympathetic with this disaster. Also to build awareness to life and process of making aware which Indonesia position in the natural disaster area, where 9% of all area in source of earthquake, especially Aceh. Or after that, a lot of earthquake, even in Sumatra, Jawa, after in the West Indonesia. From this earthquake tragedy around the world, to learn how to revitalization of spatial planning should arranged by comprehensive and multi-hazard system. The next slide, please. The next slide, please. Next. Oh, why? Oh, next slide. Next slide. Okay. Oh, from this event, we have opportunity for geoterrorism. After the shockwave phenomena, as earthquake and tsunami, it's really become big opportunity to inform to human being from the world how to know big accident of the world, like atomic bomb in phenomena in Japan, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki city. This the big, also the big phenomena in the world. By this event, the earthquake and tsunami in Aceh will to become brought to human being to how to know this phenomena. Also, by this phenomena, how to build awareness to life and process of making aware, which Indonesia position in the natural disaster area, where 90% of all area in source of earthquake. And also to learn how to revitalization of spatial planning should be arranged by comprehensive study and multi-hazard system. Next slide, please. This is Indonesian position around the world. The ring of fire. Indonesia is the position is in the ring of the fire. That's the most susceptible to devastating tsunami. This is Indonesian position here. Indonesian position in the boundary between Australian plate and Eurasian plate. This is Indonesian position here. Because Indonesian position in the boundary plate between Australia, Eurasia, and also Pacific plate and microplate Philippines. So Indonesia is the biggest tragedy of earthquake and tsunami and also liquefaction in the world. So next, please. This is if we collect the seismicity of Indonesia since 1990 until 2009, become like this. This the figure. All earthquake. There's every time, every year, a lot of quake around start from the West Indonesia until the East Indonesia. From Aceh, in the coast east of Sumatra, Java, Bali, Nusa Tenggara, Papua New Guinea, and also Halmahera and Philippines. This is every time earthquake and tsunami is routinely in Indonesian tragedy. So only Kalimantan is a really earthquake and also tsunami. If you want to like your life in around Sumatra and Java is very difficult because every month, every year there's a lot of earthquake and tsunami. Probably only one in island, especially in Kalimantan. This no earthquake, no tsunami here. Next slide, please. This is if geophysical science point of view. Indonesia position in the between Australian plate in the south part and Eurasian plate in the north part. This is there is the big megathrust here from Sumatra, Jawa, Bali, Nusa Tenggara until Sulawesi and also Halmahera. There's a lot of earthquake here from the megathrust Andaman Sumatra. There is 9.2 Richter. It's the biggest earthquake in the world in the modern era, in the modern era. And after that, megathrust in middle Sumatra, megathrust middle second Sumatra, the magnitude until 8.5. After that, this is like arc here from in the megathrust in North Banda. All around here, very big earthquake. Different with Japan. Japan not so big like Indonesia. So in Japan, every weeks there is earthquake, but not so big than Indonesian earthquake. So the next slide, please. This is about our simulation. Oh, not attractive here. I forgot this. Oh yeah, this is the slide in PDF. Yeah, because we have make a simulation from the Aceh tsunami from here. From here, tsunami from Aceh will cross around the Teluk Benggala, also Samudra Hindia. So, next please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So the tsunami from Aceh will make impact of around the country, around the Indian Ocean, like South Africa, Madagascar, Kenya, Tanzania, Somalia, and also India, Myanmar, Thailand, and Malaysia, and also Sri Lanka. The next slide, please. So the accident victim of tsunami in December 26 in year of 2004, Indonesia killed it's about 150 million people and lost at about 25,000. Sri Lanka, 31,000 died and also lost at about 4,000. India, 10,000 human being killed and lost at about 5,000. Thailand, 5,000 killed and so they lost at 2,000. Somalia also, after that, Tanzania 68, Bangladesh 11, Wales 2, and Kenya 2%. So the totally at about 200,000 people killed at that time, and 40,000 people lost in the impact of the earthquake and tsunami. So the next slide, please. Also will become damage of loss by earthquake disaster by tsunami of Aceh and Nias. Houses and building at about 1.3 million. Harbor or port at port. Road also 120 kilometers. Bridge and at about 18. Electric distribution network at about 20%. Sanitation facilities at about 93%. Water pipelines and facilities at about 85%. And also gasoline filling station at about 4 stations. Next slide, please. Hi. And also, impact of the tsunami will damage and loss assessment like social sectors, including housing, education, health, religions, also infrastructure sector, including transportation, communication, energy, and etc. And also production sector, including the damage at about 3,000. Also cross sector, including environmental, government administration, banking, and also finance. That's the totally the damage at about 27 trillion rupiahs. Is very big money we lost. Next slide, please. So this is imagine of the Banda Aceh destroyed city. From the beach at about 30.30 kilometers. This destroy all Banda Aceh city around here. This is very dense people here, and at about 100,000 people died at the time. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is proven the tsunami zonation determined by height of tsunami. This is height of tsunami. This the clean of the trees here, the height of tsunami wave. So we can make how to know the top of tsunami wave. Here, the top of tsunami wave. In the red line is top of tsunami wave. We can measure from this tsunami, top tsunami. We can find 10.3 meters. This big tsunami from the marine system in the wave. Next slide, please. This is electrical power. Large boat dragged along by tsunami energy. This is me here from in two position from the left side here. Is this position after 1 week after the tsunami. I came from the Japan from here with my sensei, with my professor. My professor want to know about the biggest earthquake and tsunami in the world at the time. Very, very surprised, because all of geophysicists around the world how to know the biggest earthquake and tsunami from the seismological point of view. Next slide, please. Next slide. So we can also to enlarge why Indonesia as center of gravity to understanding the earthquake and tsunami, because Indonesia is the biggest earthquake in there's in Indonesia. The biggest tsunami in the modern area also in Indonesia. The biggest accident victim in the world by earthquake and tsunami also in Indonesia. So after that, we should develop center of study and development of earthquake science, tsunami science, liquefaction science, and other hazard. So natural hazard is very unique in the world. So also Indonesia have sympathetic center in the world by natural disaster. And after in 2010, Indonesia having museum tsunami in the biggest in the world. There is Aceh Tsunami Museum. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is for the memory of the heritage building in Banda Aceh for tourists requested to visit. Here. Next. Lanjut. This is our tsunami museum in Banda Aceh City. As one dynasty of geohazard tourism. This is the biggest houses here, the biggest building. This very, very interesting how to know, how to learn the activity of the earthquake and tsunami. So next. In other position, this is environment view of Aceh tsunami. The position of this, the museum Aceh tsunami is the center of Banda Aceh. Very beautiful building, I think, because this position also the public park of Aceh Tsunami Museum City. They have stuff here. Every year there is probably 500,000 people came to Aceh Tsunami Museum. Please, next. This is Baitur Rahman Mosque. This beautiful mosque in the center of Banda Aceh. That's having a lot of historical in colonial era. Also, European know a lot of this history of the Banda Aceh, history of Aceh. Next. This mission Aceh Tsunami Museum. Aceh Tsunami Museum is a laboratory of education and awareness. No one should ever again die in Aceh due to an earthquake and tsunami. The goal of the Aceh Tsunami Museum is to promote public tsunami education for the people of Aceh and the Indonesian region in general. The museum will also preserve the social and cultural history of Aceh since Indonesia colonial era and promote the cultural early warning system. The technology also economic development on the Aceh. So the museum will serve as a living memorial to those who lost their life and experience in the past tsunami event children. Next. Next slide, please. This is our books. This scientific book, Tsunami Aceh, is after the 5,000 after the tsunami tragedy. We'll make the book, this book. this book, scientific book to give to scientists around the world how to know the biggest tsunami on Aceh. Next slide, please. One book more is Small Wave from Simelu. This book especially how to learn from wisdom of Simelu Aceh before small wipe out of your place. This culture of tsunami, like tsunami. There is one word in the Aceh we call small wave. Small wave is the same with the tsunami from Japan. It's the terminology of Japan. Next slide, please. Next. This is early warning system tradition of Aceh. We call this this traditional by description, history, science, entertainment, amusement, collective memory of society. This Aceh said, "Semong do make more. Tsunami is your swimming pool. Linong awak-awakmu. Earthquake is your swing. Like kandang-kandangmu. Thunder is your drum. Kile suluh-suluhmu. Lightning is your disco light." Very interesting culture. So, next slide, please. One more. I will read the published from the warning system in Aceh. This is like cultural early warning system, different with early warning system by technology. The Aceh was say, "Angel man sau surito, listen to our story. Inang maso semenan, once upon a time. Manok nop saifano, a village sang. Uilah da sesewan, is that was being told. Uneng ne ale linong, a tremendous earthquake started a quake. Fesang bakat nemali, followed by enormous wave. Manok nop sai hampong. The meaning is the entire country destroyed. Tibo-tibo maawi, in very sudden time. It's very interesting. The word from the Aceh, how to know and make the cultural early warning system by Aceh. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is one of the sample how to tsunami browse the human being life here. By this information, we can make map how the biggest of the tsunami impact to our lifestyle here. Next slide, please. After that, we make map. This is map the tragedy of tsunami. By this map, we can define how to make building, how to make green belt to block of the tsunami. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is one of the sample of the liquefaction as an important role in the building failure in the Aceh earthquake. This building, there is 6 levels. By the several ground shaking in Aceh earthquake become liquefaction here. And the building become only 4 floor. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the living paradigm of Aceh. Next. Tolong cepat saja. This is one, why? This is purpose of spatial planning in the beach or the waterfront, because especially in Banda Aceh and around the beach, we can make green belt, and also how to make housing here, how to make forest here. We should make proposed spatial planning by this rule. The next, please. Waktu begitu cepat. Propose disaster management and evaluation. Representation in spatial planning. How to understand the remind the Aceh society of the cultural early warning system of Semong. And also developing high technology of mitigation and early warning system and technology. And the next, management and zonation of tsunami and flood area should be planning. Management and zonation of abrasion and mitigation technology, we should prepare to make forest fire zonation or spot. Next slide. Next slide, please. Because the time is rolling. Propose zonation of integration, disaster prevention and technology. We should make geological mapping in clearly, earthquake mapping, tsunami mapping should be integrated. So, to understand and make calculation of damage estimation and also loss estimation, we should make clearly. To develop an application big data of geographic information system and remote sensing. In application to promote of anti-seismic building on the society of geohazard risk area. The next, please. Oh, so another matter to propose, we should make integrating zonation and mitigation technology of multi-hazard disaster system, building zonation database, making comprehensive spatial planning, developing technology of disaster mitigation or early warning system, managing disaster, design and construct an anti-seismic building code. So, next. So, another of, especially in management, we should make regulatory framework, institutional framework, funding and resources mobilization and framework, manpower utilization framework, information socialization and dissemination system. So, this is the important one. There's trees along the coast is very useful to block tsunami because this especially mangrove, we call mangrove, will be block the tsunami at about 70% of the energy of tsunami will block by this mangrove. Next slide, please. Next. This geohistorical of Aceh especially. Aceh has plenty of long time history of battle barrier in colonial area. Lot of mausoleum, fortress, earthwork, style. Next. And also Aceh is region of statue and sculpture history. There's a lot in Aceh, a lot of the history. Also history, the first commander in the world, Kemalahayati. And like zaman now, we saw Inong Bale. Inong Bale is the same with the Mama action. Mama action since in Aceh it's a long time ago. There's a lot of Mama. There are the commander of the World War. Next slide, please. One of the commander is Kemalahayati, this commander. Now become make comic and also film. Probably in next year we will see the film of the Kemalahayati commander. Next, please. Also, Aceh a lot of the king of Iskandar Muda journey. This is Iskandar Muda. There's a lot of the story, very big story, start from the 15th century. One of the biggest is Sultan Iskandar Muda. Also, Teuku Ciditro is the hero from Aceh, warrior in colonial area, in the colonial era. This is very close with my house in Aceh here. Next. And also Teuku Umar is famous of the Aceh warrior in colonial area. Also European, I think, a lot of scientists know a lot of the Teuku Umar. Next slide, please. Next. Also, the wife of Teuku Umar is Cut Nyadin. Is very famous. It's a woman, superwoman from Aceh. Also, her house is very close with Banda Aceh City. Next. Nowadays, a lot of the city in the Aceh will make ecotourism, especially here in Langsa, Aceh. Next slide, please. This is one of the symbol of the beautiful place for mangrove habitat and anti-tsunami here. Now very good condition. And also, next, okay. A lot of the European cruiser came to Aceh, how to know tragedy in Aceh, and also they are come to Sabang port at about 6,000 tourists come to the Aceh every year, every cruiser. Next. This is one of the welcome party of European Amalia cruiser in Sabang and Harbor. Very famous and also very beautiful from the Tarian Aceh, the Aceh dance. So this is scheduled in this year. Start on January, there are seaborne sejor vessel. Also February, April, until November, and also December. Is a lot of the European cruiser come to Aceh. So the last one, the conclusion. Severe earthquake followed by tremendous tsunami and damage of the coastal area in Aceh. Destroy infrastructure, settlement, claim heavy causalities and social facilities damage. The disaster changed the coastline environment, agriculture area, geological setting, and demographic of Aceh. The second one, Aceh and its surroundings should be able to attract the world ecotourism of earthquake and tsunami, generating respect to nature as well as realizing and reminding the existence of God. Next. The third one, Aceh has plenty of long-time history of battle warrior in colonial area, and which Holland has made a lot of literature covering various Aceh culture and Holland history when they tried to conquer Aceh. Aceh has complete phenomena of the most severe natural disaster and the biggest human being tragedy in the world, which resulted in the mortality and missing of more than 3,000 civilians. This catastrophe is such an inspiration and contemplation of staff that is able to assist the humankind to plan better system in the future. By using evaluation of disaster management, generating grand strategy, and preparing the facilities, Aceh will move toward world-class tourism dynasty. Inshallah. Thank you very much. Sekian, terima kasih. Gracias. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Prof. Sanny, for the nice presentation. Prof. Sanny, I repeat again in conclusion that he explained how Aceh that had experience of most severe tsunami long back in 2004 and now become leading leading site, yes, Prof, to present how to survive from the biggest disaster. And then we come to the next speaker, Mbak Murni Amalia Ridha.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I will read a brief of her identity. Murni Amalia Ridha, S.Si, M.Sc, is a traveler and blogger of cultural and living environment of Indonesia, and also as founder of Indonesian travel site www.indohoy.com, and also Indonesian best travel blog featured in magazines such as Venture Mag and Panorama Mag, and also some televisions like Metro TV and Net TV. And also she arranged itinerary trip in Indonesia for others. And now time is yours.
Thank you. I don't know how to follow up on that. That's such a great presentation compared to mine. But I want to first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity. And let me just get on to the presentation. Can I get to the slide, please? Okay, we can skip that. Basically, I'm just going to talk about the tourism environment and also online content. Now, I have to talk about a little bit about my background because there's some relevance in this, and because I don't have any screenshot of websites at that time, I do have a photo of myself at that time. So a little bit about me and how I came into this industry is that in 2007, Indonesia didn't have a lot of online content. It's very different to what its neighboring country was. Malaysia and Singapore, they already had a great established website telling them how people can travel to their country, and they were already doing marketing, online marketing at the time. In 2007, we weren't doing that much yet. And so because of that, in 2007, me and my friends started a website called indohoy.com purely to help people travel around Indonesia. And because it was an English-based website, we were targeting the international tourists at that time. Now, at that time also, there weren't many social media. There weren't, we don't use social media as we do now. And Instagram was still on iPhones. And so we didn't all enjoy the luxury of Instagram. Now, coming back to 2019, as you see on the screen, now Indonesia.travel is the website from the ministry. It is a very thorough website to explain the surface of Indonesian tourism, and I think it's okay. It's quite nice. They have great photos, but considering user-wise, I think there could be more improvement, and I think we're still behind compared to our neighboring countries. Also, there's so many more content creators. We have so many travel bloggers at the moment. Social media is so big. It's exploded. I think everyone here has a social media, at least Facebook. And and it's become such a big thing, especially for travel. In 2019, travel has been a very, very sexy item on the menu. Every media has a focus on the travel segment. Every brand seems to not give away TV and refrigerators anymore. They now give away trips to Japan, Korea, to Raja Ampat, places that are they're quite pricey to get to. Also, Instagram, I have to say, is the biggest influence in traveling today, because we tend to, in Indonesia, we tend to travel to places where we see on Instagram, whether it's from the influencers or also from friends and families. Now, another big influence of that is that the government also is endorsing traveling, which this year is its target to reach 20 million foreign tourists. I don't know. I don't think we're there yet, but we're close. And in that sense, that's only just for the international tourists. The domestic itself, it's a huge market. Everyone's traveling. It's such a lifestyle. Even I have friends that travel just because they want to fill in their Instagram. So it is a very interesting phenomenon. But again, this year we have a big target, and I think in the reports later we'll see whether we have achieved that or not. So with so many people traveling, which is a good thing, but yeah, it's okay. You can see that slide. With so many people traveling, everywhere is so packed. All traveling destination, especially during vacation, is so full. And of course, there are some implications of it. This is a picture from the Komodo National Park in 2018, the end of 2018. And there's more stories to this later on, but as you can see, this is just on the beach, and it's not hard to spot something like this at the time there. Okay, let's talk about the problems. What have we got ourselves into? Now, with so many people traveling at the moment, it's overwhelming. Nature then becomes a theme park. When we're talking about nature-based traveling, it's very popular now because everyone's traveling to places that are exotic and has a great panorama where people can take pictures, you know, and post. And one of the cases is, this is a case when that happened recently on the 20th of April. This is in Mount Merbabu National Park. This happened, I think it was on the way down from the mountain. And as you can see, it's very dense. This is actually a video. You can see it on Nat Geo Indonesia's account. And this is on the 20th. And you can see it's so hard to move. And this is in nature, and what's so-called a place where, you know, people are not supposed to have a lot of people. It should be more trees. But here you can see it's kind of catching up. So this was a problem, and with this also there's problems with trash on mountains and also safety. So this is one example that happened just recently on the 20th of April. Next slide, please. This is Komodo National Park. This is like Gili Laba Island, the same island that you saw before, where I took a picture of the deer. And in the this is be 2 weeks prior to the fire that happened, as you can see on the bottom. Now, what happened here is an interesting case because no one seems to want to tell the truth. They're trying to kind of closing up all the information, but there is an indication that it was because somebody lit a cigarette and they didn't turn it off quite well. As you can see, it's very dry in the Komodo Islands. But another story is said that there was a bunch of people that were making a pre-wedding video, and they were doing a fire theme. And so they started a fire thinking they could put it out. But as you can see, with very dry grass, fire spreads very quickly. So what happened was almost the whole island got fire, and eventually this island had to be closed. It's actually one of the most iconic places to catch the sunset, also sunrise. As you can see, the view is very, very nice. But that happened, and then people are doing, the authorities are doing some investigation, and they're trying to figure out, well, and we never got the report what actually happened. Well, there is a report, but I've heard from the people that work at Komodo National Park, it actually is a human error. Sadly, I hope the deers are all right, but sadly that island has to close. Now, another very big case, and I'm a bit like, you know, in contradictive to Pak Sanny before, because this is in Raja Ampat National Park, a cruise ship from, I think it was a British cruise ship. It sailed into Raja Ampat, and I heard that it wanted to, you know, sail around, see the beautiful corals. Unfortunately, they didn't have any local guide on the board or local people that understood the tide situation, and they got caught in the corals. It's a really big damage, and in that sense, it was devastating, because Raja Ampat, as most of us know, is the heart of the coral triangle of the world. And with that big ship just stuck in there and trying to get out, get in, get out, you can imagine how many corals died. And this all because of tourism. And I'm not saying that, and it's not even just for, you know, people that are uneducated. As you can see, a cruise ship has a lot of certificates. They are very, they are well known to be very responsible in tourism, but still happened. So many cases. So what now? So in the sense of traveling and what's happening now, I still believe that we should keep traveling. The thing is that humans have to travel to understand their world much better. Humans have to understand there are things that are different in other places of the world. People have to understand that not all things they believe are the same things on the other side of the world. Also, in the case of nature, people should always go to nature and be on nature-based tourism, because we have to be close to our nature. We have to understand and have a grasp of what actually is nature without humans. We have to understand that that's something very precious, and in that sense, we really have to get closer to nature. So we have to still keep traveling, but I think we still need to change our behavior, especially with tourism and online content right now. One thing that I should suggest on traveling is there's so much more to share. There's a lot of people that love to go on trips to natural-based places like Komodo Islands. It's still very beautiful. I still would recommend it for anyone. But there's so much other things that are interesting in the world that we don't all have to go there just to feel close to nature. We could talk to the locals. We can eat local food and understand the resources in the local area, and also buy local goods that also support the local people. Because in that sense, well, if we understand the richness of everything else outside of nature, we can, visit nature just once in a while and release some stress from nature itself. So I think we should do a lot more than just go to nature itself. And a few examples that I'd like to give you is, this is in Banda Neira, in Banda, Kepulauan Banda. And this is, of course, the prominent Ibu Susi. This is not my picture, but I was there when this happened. This is actually a festival 2 years ago, and it is to unlock a SASI. Now, SASI is a traditional ritual, usually performed in East Indonesia, and they actually lock down any kind of hunting or any kind of harvesting of some sort. In this sense, they lock down the harvest of shells. Now, these shells are very valuable for the cosmetics world, also for health, apparently for some health products also. And they can only harvest every 2 years. Now, in between those 2 years, they only have 2 weeks to harvest their shells. And this lockdown system is called SASI, and we can actually learn from the Eastern Indonesian people how to preserve this. This is actually a method that they do to preserve their environment, and it's not only just for like things in the sea. They can also SASI their coconuts. They can also SASI their gardens, anything, and no one is to touch that until the SASI is unlocked. Now, SASI is very interesting also because SASI is a ritual that has to be done, which involves the spirit. So it's a very long and exhausting ritual. So, and because it's kind of superstitious in that sense, people don't cross that line because they're afraid that they will have like bad luck, or they will meet ghosts, or something happen to them if they break that SASI. But it's a great communal law, and it's something that we can learn about when we travel to somewhere in East Indonesia. Next slide, please. It doesn't have to, and I always encourage people to share things that it doesn't have to be something really extravagant like a festival. It could be something so small like these little guys. These little guys are called kapal. I think some people in Central Java and Yogyakarta would know what they are, but other than that, I doubt that they do. These kapal, I was in Yogyakarta like a few months ago, and I was walking outside of my hostel with my friends, and my friend asked me, "What the hell is that?" And I told her this is the kapal fruit. You don't actually find this a lot in markets or anywhere else because a few things. First of all, this fruit is used to be consumed especially for princesses because it can help their body odor smell really, really nice. So it was kind of like a limited fruit for royalty. So nobody can actually, consume it freely unless you really have a tree, and then you can consume it yourself. Another thing about this fruit is that this fruit is not it's not profitable because they have quite a big seed, so they don't sell it in the market. You can't really find them in markets. In my case, I found them in just a tree here, and also in a plantation, a coffee plantation at the time. And if you're wondering how they taste, it tastes between, now get this, it is between a sawo and a mango. And I can't explain any other way how it tastes. It tastes really, really good. And whenever you're in Indonesia, you're in Central Java or in Yogyakarta, you must find this fruit. So it's not only the big things that we learn about nature and we can share about, it's also the small things like this. And if you know something like this, you don't necessarily want to go to Merapi. Like if you've been there once, you can explore other things and find some things that are interesting, just like this. So yeah, so it's either the big things, the small things. We can all participate and share a lot of things about the environment, about our habitat, and then put stress off traveling to nature-based places. The next slide, please. Another thing that I do want to close in, and I don't want to go too long for this presentation. I'm sure there's more to talk about later on. But one thing that I have to stress is like wisely. This industry now is based on, and not just tourism, I think all industry now is based on what we like on Instagram and Facebook and what we share on Twitter. It is something that we think it's quite easy to just double tap your screen because you like something, but that actually is something dangerous if you're not aware of what you're liking. When we have some emphasis on liking something online, people tend, like if we like something online, the receiver will tend to think that that's just a justification of what they're doing, when in fact maybe we're just doing it out of ignorance. We're just, it's easy just to like. But I encourage you to next time, to when you start liking on Instagram or on Facebook, take time to consider what you're actually liking, because once you like a picture of somebody traveling and then they're traveling irresponsibly, you're actually justifying that. Or if you're liking a picture of traveling and that post becomes very viral, a lot of people like it, and then people want to go there and want the same likes, they want to be there, do the same thing. It's just a small gesture, but it can go a long way. So I don't want to go on to what we can do in the big picture. I think there's a lot of small things that we can also do when it comes to online content, and how we can help the environment and also tourism in that sense. And I think that's probably my point for this time. And thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Murni, for nice presentation. Yeah, a little bit, what is it? What you explained, it's about, how to utilize the online media to spread and also to present how beautiful our nature in Indonesia, right? To many people around the world. And now we try to connect to Barcelona to know the question from the audience.
I think Pasan is gone. Is Pasan gone?
Yes, wait. Prof. Sanny.
Ya. Beliau lagi jawab SMS dulu.
Okay. Yeah. Now we are trying to connect to audience. I think it's still mute, maybe, in Barcelona.
Yep.
Please be concentrated if there is a speaker who is give the presentation. So if you are, I will give you some tips before the question and answer. Okay, the quiz will be related to the presentation that has been given to our both students. The first question is where is Museum Tsunami? In what city Museum Tsunami is?
Whoa.
It must be a lot of people want to ask questions.
Yes. Okay. Yaudah coba kakak aja.
Halo?
Warning. There is 4 cultural warning. Then, tsunami is your swimming pool.
Oh, halo?
Halo?
Oh, ada. Okay, mati.
Yeah, wait. We just wait for the questions.
Okay.
It seems that we lost connection from the Barcelona. Wait, I try to contact. Yeah, while we are waiting now, maybe we can just make a small discussion. Yeah, related to the using social media nowadays to spread and also to to promote, especially related to this topic about nature. I think Indonesian Ministry of Tourism is really trying so hard to, utilize, especially for millennial generation. We know about there are 2 generation. We call it generasi pesona Indonesia. It's local based Indonesia, and also generasi wonderful Indonesia, that young people living outside Indonesia. Maybe Mbak Murni have some comments or maybe some recommendation while we are waiting connection from Barcelona.
Okay. How do I comment? Yeah, well, yes, of course they have to target the millennials, because the millennials are the ones traveling at the moment. In Indonesia, particularly, the economy is a bit better, so this first jobbers are always out there traveling. So, of course, there is an emphasis for millennials to travel. I think the ministry, I do know that they have like this generation Pesona Indonesia. They have this special community to help them promote the industry online. Which is a good thing in some cases, but we have to also consider that we have to know what they're actually trying to promote. If it's just promoting nature as a theme park, when we go to nature, we have to be aware that we are going to nature. We are going to a place where flora and fauna are intact and everything. We're not going there because it's like do fun. It's not some place where you visit and then play and then you go back. It's not as simple as that. So when the ministry promotes this content and tourism and online, they should consider that also, and not just promote that promote, it's good, it's beautiful, it's nice to visit, there's so many layers to tourism, and I think that should also be promoted by the ministry.
Yes, good point. Wait. Seems we had some problems with. They are trying to send voice note using WhatsApp right now. Wait a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Betari.
Actually destroy the jungle. So how do people that concerned on nature-based tourism to deal with those people? That's my question.
Wait. Sorry. Could you please repeat again?
The people that live in the jungle and also the environmental concern. The environment.
Handle the people in the jungle. Okay. Halo?
Ya.
Bisa.
Diulangi aja. Just repeat.
Suaranya gitu. Oke. Maaf, bisa diulang nggak? Coba diulang. Gimana?
So, langsung aja. Okay. So now we know that ada kali ya, biar nambah mereka nya nggak sih? Buat Indonesia aja enak apa? Ada bahasa Inggris.
Aku ketik aja deh.
Okay. Wait. We are just waiting for the.
Orang-orang di hutan.
Yeah, something related to the jungle, but just wait for the questions. Yeah, and also we just continue from our previous discussion, Mbak Murni. Yeah, because I think the generation that created by the Minister of Tourism is, I think, it's not only about promoting the nature, and also they are making like, was it millennial market or something? Yes. Ya, pasar wisata, tourism market. Yeah, and also because they are spread all over the Indonesia from Aceh to, I think, to Sulawesi right now, or even already established in Papua. Wait. Oh yeah. We just got the question from the audience in Barcelona. Wait, yeah. It's about how to handle people in the jungle, especially for, what is it, people that what do you say? Yeah, really not really touched by the technology. Yeah,
how do you
handle people in the jungle?
Can we specify that as in handling in what sense?
Yes. What sense? Wait. I think it's general questions. Wait a minute. Okay, while waiting, maybe Mbak Murni also can give, some comments also to what Prof. Sanny already explained, especially for, because you concentrated on the, utilizing the social media, and while also in Aceh there is another effort of promoting Indonesian tourism by welcoming cruise trip, like for example in Aceh, to know and to have experience and to know deeper about how Aceh people survive from the tsunami. And how about in social media? especially we had also experience last year, tsunami also in Sulawesi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how was it the social media was it issue in social media related to the disaster, natural disaster, based on your experiment also experience, Mbak Murni?
Okay, just a sec. I have the question I have to answer here. Okay, while I'm waiting. Uh, on disaster actually is very assisted by social media, because now we can capture or know something is happening faster than we used to do, because our warning system isn't the best, and yeah, and then the signs, we can't really see them. So I think social media really helps us to get things more aware. We know about the on-ground activities faster. We know how to get there faster. We know we can actually see the disaster now. I mean, we have footages of these disasters happening, and yeah, and then whatever they need, if there's signal, they can tell the world what they need in a place. So I think social media is very helpful in the sense of disasters. So in that sense, yeah, it does really help in developing disaster matters. I mean, I think Aceh would have been much faster if we had a better internet, or at the time social media was more like now. But yeah, I mean, it's just something that we can benefit from social media. What was the question before the disaster? Sorry, it was for tourism market, was it?
No, just another perspective. I mean, because the generation made by Ministry of Tourism of Indonesia is not just promoting the nature. They're also creating some markets that really match with the millennial. I mean, market is really nice, especially to have Instagram photo then, and also have a fun weekend.
Well, yeah, everything for tourism, it is catered now to whatever is selling at the moment. So every place right now is changed into Instagrammable, something that can be presented online. It's not necessarily authentic, but then again, it doesn't have to be. So as long as people are moved to travel, because as we know in Indonesia, traveling is a luxury. It's an expense that the further you go usually is the more expensive, and you expect to have a nice place when you get there. And that, so yeah, I think a lot of places are adjusted for that. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work in the sense of they actually change the whole setting into something that it's beyond our imagination, and then it could be going the wrong way. It's not always nice to see, but again, that's whatever the locals want to do. For tourism, I think I can't really say if the development is towards Instagram is a bad thing per se, because it does move people. All I can say is that we are wiser we need to be wiser to appreciate it, because yeah, it is all about perspective, and whatever we do supports it. So if we want to support that, let's say somebody made the second Eiffel Tower in Raja Ampat, if they think that's good for tourism for themselves, then so be it. But of course, do we really want to support that? So tourism is a very unique business, because it really is like marketing. It's a consumed based kind of market. it follows whatever the demand goes, and the demand at the moment is really big and shifting really fast. So yeah, I think I don't mind people trying to fill for Instagram or for social media, but of course it needs to be balanced by people that understand the impacts and also understand the goods and bads of everything there.
Yes, use social media wisely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry?
Yeah, because negative effect of, I mean, nowadays the advance of technology, especially social media, is everyone wants to be viral. Not really necessary is whether it's useful or not, but the most important thing is how we can be viral first, and then let's think another issue for the next priority. Okay, so the question from audience is actually about your experience how to handling people in the jungle.
Yep. Okay. This I should answer here anyway. Okay, so to let's say to communicate or to interact with the people that actually are the indigenous in the jungle, I think I actually had a friend of mine has just been to the suku anak dalam recently, and I read her post, which is very, very good. She says that one of the things that the people in the jungle cherish is their women. So their women are like descendants, like part of God, and so the women are so protected, and they can't go out of the forest. So everything that needs to be done, whatever they have to learn inside the jungle. So when it comes to schooling, they have to learn, and everything, it has to come into the jungle, and they have to do it inside. Now, in that sense, it's very interesting, because then it's not them that has to adapt to us. It is really we have to adapt to them, because their culture and their civilization has gone far beyond what let's say I know. I like this modern world is just like what 100 years, 200 years, and while the people in the forest have gone for centuries older. So when it comes to if you do tourism and you want to meet them, well, you have to come to their house, be guests to their houses. You have to go into the jungle. You have to see how they live. But what I usually observe is usually city people tend to be snobs and know-it-all. So they come in and they say, well, this isn't hygienic, or this isn't right, this is not healthy, and they start preaching. And I don't think that's the right way when you go to the forest and go to somebody's house per se. So when you want to visit people that are indigenous to the forest or anywhere that are remote, the most important thing that has to be done is to bear all what you know about the world and understand what they know about the world, because it's a different world, and we can't bring our values straight away to them. It doesn't make sense. It's the same thing as if you go to your friend's house and then you tell them like this isn't right, that isn't right, that doesn't make sense. So you have to respect who lives in that that area. Whether they become a tourist attraction, well, yes, there's a potential that they become tourist attraction. One of the most tragic ones are actually the long-necked people of North Thailand. I heard they are kind of like exploited in a certain place where people watch them, people pay to take pictures with them. It's no different than the safari zoo. But and I think that's just a poor way of managing the indigenous people there. So how to deal with that is never treat them as what do you call it, a show animal or something like that. So yeah, that's one thing that should be known, and it's always about them. You are citizen number 2 when you are in the jungle, so or in remote places. That's what I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, Prof. Sanny is already connected to us, or because we are about to close this session actually. Okay, it seems he is out of his laptop. So yeah, maybe to close this second session panel, Mbak Murni have something to as a closing statement.
I think my closing statement was pretty clear about being aware of what we're doing on social media, because it's clear that what we do actually impacts to nature in that, and it can impact directly. Yeah, I guess always take part in the Tourism Act, because tourism is not just for the people that are in the tourism business. Tourism is affected by the people that go there, who went there first, and then share the stories. And in that sense, always share the right stories and the responsible ones. So that's probably my end note here.
Okay, thank you so much, Murni, Amalia, Ridha, for interesting discussion, and also Prof. Teuku Abdullah Sanny. Yeah, well, now he is out of our connection.
Wow.
Okay, so me as the producer and also co-moderator, because we are losing the connection from the Barcelona. Yeah, actually the original moderator is Margaretta Christita, student in Finland, and also Sri Karina Bangun, student in France. So after the closing statement by Mbak Murni, we close this second panel session. It's about nature-based tourism. We had two perspectives. First one from Teuku Abdullah Sanny, that explained about how the experience of Aceh people from the really big disaster in 2004, and also how now people are going to Aceh to visit, for example, tsunami museum, and also even some foreign people also having cruise ship to see what happening now in Aceh. And for the second speaker, Mbak Murni is talking about the impact of social media and also online platform to promote the nature and also the beauty of our country. But the closing statement that really we should aware of is we should use wisely the social media, how to promote promoting the nature and also other aspect of our country. And this is the end of the session. And after or in 1 hour, we are going to have the third and the closing panel session. It will be about socio-cultural and economic impact of tourism. That will be moderated by Christita student in Switzerland and also Liechtenstein, and Kartika Krishnawati, student in Italy. And there will be 3 speakers. First one is Lorenzo Cantoni, Ph.D., professor in Switzerland. And second one is Miss Aditya Amarangana, as tourism professional. And the third one is Mrs. Dr. Randa S.T. Rekoastuti. She is staff expert to the Indonesian Tourism Minister for Multiculturalism. And thank you once again for Mbak Murni for sharing knowledge, experience, and also the time for us, and also Prof. Teuku Abdullah Sanny, and also the audience in symposium in Barcelona, and all audience in YouTube PPTV. And me, Rama Rizana, as producer for this program. Thank you so much, and Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.